it on YouTube, so all you gotta do is go to YouTube and
And
now.
this is a thing I do, this, I'm very. Do you need me to pick up your package?
But she's gonna start the recording, just to make sure it works.
Because I can get them, because I can.
Yeah.
We're streaming.
I usually.
Make sure we're working this time.
Good idea.
I'd rather do that before than do it at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I get a motion to-
I just read your email and I agree with you. 100%.
So we're gonna keep on the agenda?
Yeah.
Thank you. I just thought you were gonna pull it like.
No,
Okay,
no.
good, good, all right, good. Thanks.
Wonderful. Maybe.
Wish we could mute this. You know, so we could get the streaming going, but we wouldn't be streaming.
The audio.
Restraint. Character.
Okay, so I think we are good. Can somebody check?
I can check. I got it. Are you already on it?
I am not, I'm getting there.
Okay, so two flash sitting up here, and then I just gotta unpause this. And I didn't check my emails for the response to my question, so hopefully it'll be addressed tonight.
Which question?
The one about, getting whatever going on and not looking for the missing money.
Yeah, he's got it in his report.
Okay.
I had the same question.
Yeah, because I think we did respond. Talk about it later.
Nan's here. Hi, Nan.
Hello, everyone. You sound amazing.
Good. And you can
Yes.
see us too.
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
We're
Yes.
checking.
We're streaming YouTube.
Yep. Are we gonna get snow? Don't want snow. We're gonna have at least one snow.
I've never my whole life not seen snow.
My crab tree is blooming. Ridiculous.
It's all confused.
Pretty little red leaves. Yeah,
Where's Jane? We're coming, we're going to Southern California.
well, no, they got it all back east. That east is hoarding it all, I think. Holy smokes.
Rocky Mountain.
You can get paid $30 an hour to shovel snow or get fined.
Starbucks is full here. No.
No, she was the White Sand.
Okay, okay.
I'm good with them.
I know a lot of people are good with that winter, but I want winter because otherwise the government's gonna be horrible this summer. We don't get some snow and rain and water. You know it. What else? Now it's delegated probably.
Where you getting out to milk that?
I'm more worried about fleas and ticks.
Oh.
Fleas and ticks.
The mutual agreement, yes.
Yeah, we'll do one.
I think so.
It's a bad teacher, you know.
It was a mutual agreement.
It's kind of,
Your predecessor.
Is there,
It was a mutual agreement.
It's already gone now.
All right, whenever you're ready.
let's call to order with the pledge of allegiance.
Good with right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Cowan. Councilmember Happy.
Here.
Councilmember Seeger.
Here.
Councilmember Pruitt.
Here.
Councilmember Price. Councilmember Bramlett.
Here.
Mayor Wood.
Here. We're all here. All right, additions or amendments to the agenda?
No changes, Shauna.
Adoption of the consent agenda?
I move to adopt the consent agenda, including the approval of the action minutes of February 9th, 2026, and the ratification of bills in the amount of $166,720.12.
A second?
I have,
All right, Sherelle seconded. Any discussion?
I did send in some corrections for the minutes. Probably wasn't enough time, but in the approving of the approved hire Ellen Fox, the question I asked was if Mr. Fox would be the utilities director. So, and I think Mr. Zimmerman said no, that that is the city administrator job and that he would be working for the electric department only.
Is that all?
Yeah.
All right, anything else, any discussion? All right, all in favor of the adoption of the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the agenda, the motion was by Happy, second by Sherrill, to adopt the consent agenda for the approval of action minutes of February 9th of 2026 and ratification of the bills in amount of $166,728.12. And that passed unanimously. Moving on, appearances of interested citizens to share on a variety of perspectives of issues facing our community. None. Special reports, none. Public hearings, none. Action items, approval of recruiting firm for city administrator.
You've got the two possibilities for it. Tiffany put together this nice little comparison. There is one thing you may want to know about. The city administrator at Stevenson has been released, and Stevenson has hired Kaufman to fill the position. So the point is, we could do two. We could do two. The people that are going to apply for that job may apply for this job. There may be some conflict. There may be some congruence. Just putting that out there so you know that all of the potential situations are out there between the recruiting firms.
Tiffany?
So, just so we can have discussion, I make a motion that we approve Prothman to, hire Prothman for recruiting for the city administrator position.
I second.
Seconded by Sherrill. Motion by Tiffany
And
to hire Prothman.
so, yeah, so I did the side by side just because I'm a very visual person and I need to see it all on one page instead of scrambling through a bunch of pages. And I mean, they're pretty much the same. One charges more for one thing, one charges more for another thing, one doesn't charge at all. And, I don't know, I just, I like the online presence of Prothman. I looked it up. They have really nice, they talk about the city that's recruiting. They talk about what the issues are, what the potential is, just give a run up on the city, and I really like it. And I'm a little concerned with GMP and their, higher risk mileage and $87.50 an hour. That just kind of, I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere and that can add up really quick. So that was my reasoning.
Anybody else have any discussion? Pete?
That was, I really appreciate putting this together, but yeah, honestly, they both seem like they're very competent organizations that could help us with the recruitment process, and a lot of the process is really governed by law, so it's not gonna change a whole lot. The big differences I saw, and I think you highlighted them here, for GMP, we get 18 months guarantee on placement versus 12 months with Prothman. I feel like that's really on us though, guys. I think we'll know in 6 months if that person's really a good fit, and then we have to move to, take action or take appropriate next steps at that point. I don't see a reason why we couldn't do that in 12 months. And to me, that difference in 6 months, the fact that Prothman doesn't charge for mileage and that they plan to be here to actually get to know staff and do the stakeholder interviews, I feel like that there's just something that's lost through Zoom that you just can't pick up on. And it's really important to me that the people doing the recruiting have a clear idea of what our city looks like and how people interact and work together. And they're willing to come here for that. GMP doesn't sound like they'd be opposed to coming here for it, but they're gonna charge us higher risk mileage plus $87 an hour. And it's probably 2 to 3 days, so it's not insignificant. I did have other questions that I sent over. I did look back through the packet, I didn't see answers to these questions in either the proposal. But probably the most pressing one to me was, who would be the primary consultant assigned to Cascade Locks, and what are their active recruitments are they working on? You know, that has been one of our concerns with other contractors we're working on the audit, for example, how much time are they devoting to our city? And especially if Rothman is engaged to help Stevenson, that could be I guess something that might change my mind about working with GMP if I feel like the person that's assigned to us is gonna be able to dedicate that time to help us. I didn't see any specific conditions that, exclusions for that 18-month guarantee or the 12-month guarantee. You know, what happens if we, are dissatisfied and encourage that person to move on versus they decide to leave on their own. I don't know if there might be a reason why they would say that that guarantee wouldn't stand. And, but I guess, and then I think I'll let Bernard raise his questions, because I thought you had some good ones as well. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, Pete. Bernard, did you have some?
Well, let's see. The fact that Rothman is now hiring for Stevenson, in my mind, does kind of throw a wrench. I worry that we're competing for resources, just as Councilmember Happy noted. And do we know if they got the same contract, or are they on the same terms? Do we know that?
I don't know, these are the papers you can find. I'm sure they are similar.
Yeah. And then, so do we know where GMP is coming from?
Depends on who they assign. Eric Carson, for example, who lives in,
I know, he lives out in
Gresham.
no, he lives in, Lake Oswego. Yeah, he's from GMP, I thought he was from the other firm,
Is he in Prothman? I don't know.
not Rothman, but the third one.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Jensen.
Jensen?
Jensen,
You're
he
right,
worked
he
for
is
Jensen
Jensen.
Strategy, yeah, okay, so, yeah, he wouldn't be, okay. Yeah, so I'm trying to do the math on the mileage, let's assume they're coming from Portland. And I agree, it's probably a day or two of interviews,
Mhm.
so you can do that, it's like $400 for the hour plus that mileage is whatever, call it $500. Not, to me, not a big, it's like, oh, now we know our decisions, like, it's still kind of just muddies the water. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a significant, threshold that would lead me in one direction or the other. Yeah, okay, but back to, Councilmember Happy, so if we decide in 6 months, we are not happy with this person and we want to terminate the contract, then are there any other questions asked by the recruiter that we get our reimbursement for Mr. Gentleman?
No, once they recruit you, what the guarantee is, if you release him within his probation period, however long that probation period is established, they will do the next recruitment for expenses only, all right?
Yeah, so there's no reimbursement.
There's no
It's just-
reimbursement.
You get the next
Yeah.
recruitment for expenses.
Yeah.
I understand.
You just have to
With
pay for it.
one and I'm 850 with the other one.
The admin fee on the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. When I came in today, to me, it's a coin flip. But the fact that Rothman is already engaged by Stevenson, that now makes me lean toward GMP. That's where I'm at.
Can you explain that a little bit? I mean, cause I could see it being actually almost, could be beneficial, like, what makes you have hesitation on that?
Well, I feel like their resources are going to be applied to selecting their candidate. And we're gonna be, I don't know, we're gonna get we're getting scraps from their attention over there because they already signed a contract with them. And that's one way to look at it. I don't, the truth is, I haven't thought this through that, because I'm just learning it now, so.
Tiffany. So, I'm
I'm not worried about it, just because I think we have different needs than they have over there. I think I just feel like we have different needs, and to me, it felt like Crossman was more, local, and, GMP was like the western states, which I don't mind, but then we gotta consider moving them here and all of that sort of stuff, so I mean, and I felt like the people that were in charge of Crossman were more local too, wasn't one of them from the Dalles, and, I mean, something I thought I saw somewhere, but anyways, it just felt like they were more local, and I don't know.
And, Courtney, sorry.
Looking at GMP's sixth page, it says right there that the senior consultant is currently conducting improvements for Silverthorne, Colorado. So if you're concerned about Brockman recruiting right across the river, then I would find the larger red flag being somebody trying to recruit so far away.
Yeah.
If those are two options, either, they're spending time in Colorado or they're spending time across the river, and I would lean towards having someone that's working right across the river.
I thought your point, we have different needs, we're very different cities and and to your point, Courtney, I mean, they might see, they're gonna be screening all these candidates, they might say, you're not necessarily the right candidate for this city, but we think you could be a great fit for this one. I could see actually kind of working in our favor that they're doing recruiting for both, that they actually are gonna be maybe casting a little bit of a larger net, so to speak, and perhaps it could lead to more candidates that we might see.
We could always ask for a discount.
There you go. Well, I'll honor that, I like that idea.
Well, if they get candidates, they're going applying to both, they only have to do one research.
Anybody else have anything? As far as me, I don't have a problem with Rothman and them doing across the river, because I think I see the benefits of it as well, that there could be benefits like a bigger net thrown. I think a company like Rothman, what we've seen so far, they're willing to put up a contract and all that, and they've been in business a long time. And they have a good reputation, because I contacted the OMA, where you can talk to all the mayors through emails and stuff. And Prothman came highly recommended from all the mayors that I contacted as well. So.
Thank you for doing that.
Mhm, yes. Did you have something else?
I just have one more question, so, is this the time that we discuss, before we hired, when do we have the discussion about what the expectations are? Because personally, I wanna make sure that the next city administrator lives here in town.
Unfortunately, you cannot require that because it's against the law. The Oregon Supreme Court has ruled that you do not have to live in the city that you manage to be a competent
But
manager.
we could ask if they would be willing to. No?
Yeah. You can't require it, that's all I can tell you.
Okay.
You can't require it.
But I think when we're doing those stakeholder interviews, Tiffany, that's when we're gonna be able to lay out kind of the things we want. And then it's gonna be Providence' responsibility to then take those and develop that candidate profile and try to find the right candidates for us.
And quite frankly, both of these people have been in business for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, they were married.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were
married.
together.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's, and they will all cast at least a Pacific Northwest wide net to attract people, and there's always, boards or what's the word? Posts, they'll be seen across the country.
Job board.
Yeah, they're recruiting, yeah, they're recruiting, so I don't think you need to worry about, they're gonna do it, and either one of them will do an exceptional job for you.
Any other discussion on it? You have anything on
I would just say that being here all my life and seeing lots of administrators come and go, and seeing a lot of events like this, like you just, in the long run, you never know really. All you do is the best you can
it? Yep.
to get somebody here, and that's what they're gonna do. And I took, just like Gordon knows lots of people out there, these people already know, they probably have lots of people in mind
Mhm.
to come in here, and it's just, you do the best you can getting somebody, and all I can hope is we wind up with a good administrator.
I agree with that, a good administrator, and that they do the best they can, also that the council do really good about the next person as well. Cause there's been a lot of red flags in the 3 years that, that have been raised, and not always has the council, listened. And now to find out now that the city records and stuff are a mess. It's not just a little bit, it's like the staff are being overworked right now because of trying to clean everything up. So that's why I'm kind of asking council as well with your questions and stuff. If you have the ability to research and stuff right now, that would be helpful to staff, to some degree, especially if it's on a Sunday night and we're getting ready for a Monday meeting and all that. Just be considerate of staff and all that, but. So if we don't have any other discussion on this, you guys ready for a vote? All right, so we have a motion on the floor by Tiffany, and it was second by Sorrell, and the motion is to hire, approval of the recruiting firm, Prothman, for city administrator. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. All right, it passes unanimously, 7 yeses, no nos, for the recruiting for city administrator through Prothman. Thank you, guys. All right, reports and presentations, department reports, code enforcement. It's your turn, you got here just in time. Thank you.
So as you can see in the report that was provided in your packets, that I've been mostly focused this last bit on, again, illegally parked cars or cars that are parked not the way they should be. Managed to get some RVs taken care of in the cheapest way possible, meaning we didn't have to tow them, which saved us a lot of money. As we had a problem with an RV that was parked by a hotel and then on the street, and then joined another RV. I'd been working trying to get those to move along. And towing an RV on average, from what my experience was working as a real estate manager, can run, it starts at about 5,500 and goes up because they're a sunk cost. They are basically hazmat on wheels. Nobody wants them, nobody wants to tow them, and so they charge the people who are calling for the tow. So getting those folks just kind of encouraged to move along ended up being the best way to go about that. I've gone after other vehicles, just trying to make sure that, they're moving or they've got current tags or things like that. Had a lot of good luck getting that taken care of. We're focusing now on unregistered VRBOs. We've had pretty good success with that. One exception, I believe at this point, that may be going to label 1 or 2.
Two, I think.
Okay, and then trash. Trash is the big issue now. We have some properties that I'm working on trying to get them to realize that we need to have certain standards within the city of Cascade locks, and getting them to have their trash service and use it instead of their yard. That's been the big focus right now.
I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's been my experience that if you have an electric bill that you're required to have garbage service, otherwise it's $1,000 fine.
They are required to have trash service in the city of Cascade locks. It's
Right.
part of the code. And so they can get fined pretty substantially, and it's every day resets the clock on that.
Okay.
So rather than trying to, cost people their homes, it's they kind of lean on them and, this is what needs to happen, you need to do this. So far, working, sending out letters, that's the first step. So we've got proof of notification and all of that. So the red notices on the vehicles have been working really well because for the orange, they're obnoxious. I stick them right to their side glass. And in no uncertain terms, you're about to get towed. That also took care of a vehicle that had been parked up in front of the hotel. I kept an eye on another one, and it moved along pretty quickly. So sometimes it's just, they need to be aware that somebody's watching. So. Sorry.
A couple of your comments in your report, thank you for being here. Thank you for the work you're doing too. But just a couple of things stood out to me as I was reading through your report. So you said attempts to get the county sheriffs to assist with providing information as to ownership of derelict vehicles have been unsuccessful as they've not responded to calls or emails.
Right.
Has that changed?
Nope.
Are we able to reach out to the sheriff's office and see if we can get some support and help with that?
We can.
And I actually just met with the sheriff today, so, and I've got a ride along. He's going to schedule one. I'm happy to take that off, and I'll.
Thank you, Bernard.
Thank you. Please
Thank
give
you.
me my number and.
I will, I will,
I've emailed and it's like,
done.
I'm an ex-cop, you would think they would want to.
It might just be going to the wrong spot, just, I think Bernard finding out, who do we direct this stuff to when we got this request?
Right.
It's a partnership, and it's
Exactly.
teamwork, right? So you're not wearing the same uniform as them, but you're here to support them and they're here to support you. So I think we're, just need to get to the bottom of that. So thanks, Bernard, for getting into that.
Yeah, it would be nice to be able to have a little bit of teeth behind what I'm doing. The motorcycle that was down on Forest, which turns out is county property, county jurisdiction.
Can I clarify that for
Oh,
you?
please do.
The county is responsible for the maintenance of the road.
Okay,
We are still responsible for the enforcement of the ordinances inside the city limits. So you were perfectly,
I was good on that.
you were good on that.
Excellent. I will go back to that then. I was kind of like
Yeah,
a
no, it's.
bulldog with bone on that one.
When the city was annexed that property at the end, the city had no resources for street maintenance.
Mhm.
And so the county agreed to maintain the street from Wheeler onto the end, into, Frontage Road. But it's just the street maintenance.
Excellent. Thank you for letting me know that because I was so proud of the fact that it had all been cleared and to see it slowly building back up, which I know is great frustration
Yeah.
to the person who lives near there. It was disheartening to see because I knew
Yeah,
otherwise.
well, it's just the road. We still enforce the laws inside the city.
Perfect. Sir,
And then question two, I guess the issue with being complaint based is it potentially weaponizes code enforcement. Is that something you've seen as potentially more widespread or is it pretty isolated and are we complaint based or are we also?
we're still complaint based, but when I see things that aren't right, I also act on those. Just, kind of it's like if I see an RV pull into town that looks like it is going to be a problem, I tend to get on that quick instead of waiting for a complaint to come in. But in neighborhood issues and things like that, yeah, I've got a couple who like to use me against their nemesis fairly regularly.
And it's something you can kind of get a feel for.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thanks.
Tiffany? I would, I'm gonna talk to the city administrator, but we do have an ordinance that says that lights are supposed to be pointing down and, I'd love it if you turn around.
Yeah, we've got one on the apartments over off of Moody, and then I've talked to the person at the Cascade Inn a couple times now. I might just have to take a ladder and.
No, that's not your job, but I mean, it's just, yeah, and then I think when I drove back around in the trailer cart, there's a big steel building with light blaring, like right down onto the road, so.
Trailer park, which one?
I don't know one up here, it is.
Behind City Hall.
Mobile estate.
The mobile.
Okay.
So, might just take driving around one night and picking up.
Yeah, I haven't been as active the past little bit because I'm actually on medical leave from my other job while I go through getting testing and stuff done. So I've been a little slower. You notice my last time card was very light, so I'm trying to get back into, getting out there as much, but it kind of took the wind out of my sails.
Yeah. Courtney, and then I'll get you, Bernard.
So I know when my vehicle was stolen, the police recommended I check the Facebook pages. For stolen cars, there's resources out there. Is there something against our liaison being able to utilize those resources also, or is that?
No, I've used them. PDX stolen cars isn't as active out here. A lot of times good old Facebook next door, because people like to talk a lot. And so sometimes I'll find out about things from there that I can go by and check out. So that helps out a lot. But as for nailing down who is the actual RO and if the plates match the VIN, match the car, match the owner, that I still need.
And that's what I found on those Facebook pages, was that
Okay.
people had that ability
Okay.
to do that, and the resources to do that.
So I can lean into PDX stolen cars does tend to do a little more out here as well, between here and Hood River, so I can lean into that, and thank you for the resource idea.
Bernard,
Yeah, so I appreciate the report as well. I guess I have a small request. So what helps me when I talk to the public about, people say, what's the city up to? And I say, well, we're doing lots of things. And I'd love to share data with them. And you're doing a lot of actions here. And it would be nice if there was like, in the last, call it reporting period, quarter, however we're doing these, I tagged 17 illegal cars, I responded to this many on trash, and so we had like a thing. And then ideally in the year, we have a roll up. So when budget comes around.
Yeah.
And people wanna try to maybe cut a survey, whoa, are you seeing all the work our code guy did the last year? We do not wanna cut this. This is real enforcement action that I think is worthy of these dollars, but having data would help me make my case, and I feel like the rest of the council.
Yeah, there is a
You know,
report,
spreadsheet or
an
something
Excel
like that.
spreadsheet that I've been trying to work on getting filled back
Bill,
up.
okay,
Yeah.
nice,
'Cause I have all
that's
the
my
reports, all
request,
the complaints.
that would be
things like
very
that.
helpful, thank you.
And then, like I said, I maintain a living record.
Excellent.
That's what I do on
Excellent.
Monday.
Right.
We've got it.
Nice one.
Thank you. Anybody else? Did you have anything for us that you would like council to know? That you can use support in, or?
Not at this time. I'm doing, I've worked pretty well just with what I got. Carrie and Kathy are really good about making sure I have the sticker or the paper I need and things like that. So it's been really helpful. Just
My son had his car stolen like 8 months ago in Gresham. And it had been stolen for like 6 months. And the Dallas Fish and Wildlife happened to be driving in Portland. They were looking for something at somebody's house, and they have flock cameras. And it seen the license plate on my son's stolen car. And they were able to see that it was stolen and reported and call him and get him to pick up his car before Gresham police were even notified. So if we have access to any entities that have flock cameras, that might be a great resource too, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how many of them are out here or anything like
I
that.
have no idea
The
either.
PDX stolen cars is a great resource that, every now and then they do strike gold, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all, oh, yes, go ahead.
Sorry, just talking about driving around, what do you use for a vehicle when you're at work?
My car,
So you're driving your personal vehicle while you're on the clock?
yes, because it's comfortable. And it's free to the city. This isn't a very big city, and I drive my car. And it doesn't look too creepy when I'm going up like on the hill and kind of cruise in the neighborhood, because it's a Lexus. And so people aren't like, what's that? Or like, oh, watch out, it's the cops or the code guy. It's some old dude rolling around on a Lexus, and
Yeah.
it doesn't really get a lot of
It's
attention.
camouflage.
Tourist kind of camouflage, so that's it, and I don't mind, like I said, it is comfortable and easy to get in and out of, so.
All right, anybody else? Thank you so much for coming and get to feeling better.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Well, take care.
Next, we have committee reports. We have none. And city administrator report.
At your desk is the report for tonight. As you can see, the IT is working. It wasn't working earlier today. We've tried to simplify the whole process. We've got standards and procedures now so that we can follow it step by step. And hopefully we have all the technical issues addressed. I'm holding my breath. This is a test. Audit update. We have completed the work on the 2022-23 audit. And we did the management discussion and analysis today. We will be sending all of the completed work we have done to the auditors this week. As far as we can tell, all funds have been accounted for. It's now up to the auditors to tell us different. So that is huge.
Yeah.
Is
that including the 46?
We've balanced the funds.
Okay.
So that's all we can tell. They may not like the way we did it. They may have questions about the way we did it, but it has been very difficult. Some of the things that we've encountered, for example, is we haven't had a financial statement since December of 23. We haven't had bank balances done since October of 23. We have not had, well, just in this last year, in December, the general fund was not posted to the revenue, so our revenue numbers are off. Every day it seems we find something a little
More terrifying.
I wouldn't say more terrifying, something to address. But we do feel like we've made progress. But we're gonna shift from the audit focus right now to balancing the bank every month until we get current. Because that's how we're gonna be able to begin our budget process, by having that balanced. And so we're gonna try and do that. Mary Ann is gonna be very diligent, and when she wants a break, she's gonna go back to the audits. So the 22-23, we hope that we will see the audit report here probably in a month. And most of the work has been done for 23-24, at least with the same kind of things we're asked for. So if we feel like we're gonna be able to get on that process, but if we don't get the bank statements balanced and the LGIP statements balanced current, we can't build a budget.
Bernard, first.
So great.
So you said some of those statements have not been updated. You said so since December 23.
That's correct.
Okay, so does that mean someone is working on January 24, February 24? Is that what's happening right now, or what is the status of that?
The financial statements? I
Yes.
can't do a financial statement until I got the bank balance. So we gotta do the bank balances
Okay.
first.
So, but those literally we were doing 2 years ago work, if I'm hearing you right,
That's
right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna say it again. If we need more finance help, I support you going to get more finance help.
We appreciate that, but I have this bulldog.
I know, she's a bulldog and,
But-
all right.
Well, and you know, if we get further down the road, we're actually doing, we feel comfortable or really excited. We got one audit done.
Yeah.
So, now we just have to keep working on the bank statements.
Right.
So,
And on that note, I mean, the BBC list is the same for 23-24, 24-25 with the addition of one little thing. So it's, for the most part, it's those documents already been generated for the 22-23s, and you've already got the 23-24, most of those submitted, right?
so we have to see though what they come back with their audit report. Because we may have to respond.
There might be some other.
There might be some issue that we haven't been able to detect.
But from the meeting we had with the auditors, it sounded like they were okay with us getting them the PPC list for 24-25.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they are, yes, they're happy with that, and I think they're gonna be happy when we've done the MD&A that goes in. I will tell you, on the management discussion, analysis, writing it in February of 2026 for 2022-23 was problematic. Because we've got a turnover in staff complete, so it's a little sparse, but it's done.
And I mean, from your conversation with the other Secretary of State, they're aware of this change, the turnover we've had. They want us to see us get these audits complete as well.
There are 253 entities in the state that are behind in audits, so we are not alone.
And I do know that Mary Ann is very motivated to get these audits complete, I know that, and, I don't question that at all. And then when you're saying that the reconciliations, is that the same as when you're saying that the bank statements?
You know what you do with your checkbook every month?
Well, and my books.
Yeah, and
No, but it was my understanding that when we brought the last finance director on, that was their number one priority, was to get the reconciliations current, because we were behind on those. And I thought that within 6 months of Shantae starting, we were current. Did we get current and then just did not maintain it? Is that what I'm understanding?
It hasn't been done since 2023.
So we were never
Correct.
well, we were in October of 2023.
Yeah, no,
But
but,
since we were-
but we were told since October 23 that we were current, and I'm saying that that was inaccurate information. Is that
Correct.
right?
You're absolutely correct.
Thank you. And then after we finish talking audit stuff, I want to go back to the IT update if we could. I'm sorry to
Okay.
go
Okay.
backwards.
Does anybody else have any question on the audit thing while he's doing his report? Okay, go ahead.
So I did talk to.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, I should have stopped
The
before you.
IT.
Yeah, on the IT.
Sorry.
Mind if I raise my hand again? I reached out to,
Chris,
to our interim city administrator as well as the mayor, and kind of introduced them to Chris Matlock. Chris is the one that put together the video and mics for the port. For those of us that were at the new candidate night, we had to personally experience how well they worked, especially the mute function was really nice, great audio quality. And we've had some resistance previously to investing in this equipment because the thought process was, well, what if we get rid of this building, then what happens on that equipment? And my mindset on that was, well, let's just take it with us. We have no idea how long that's gonna be. We need something that's better for staff, that's not gonna be so difficult to troubleshoot. Everybody comes in and they start messing with things. And for the fact that this is our official meeting record, we need to have good, high quality audio and video recording for record keeping purposes. So I'm just sharing this because I feel like we kind of had a little bit of side table conversation about it. And one of the, my hope was that we'd work with Chris and be able to get together a kind of a shopping list, if you will, of what we need, and then roll that into the budget. But it's hard for us to budget for it if we don't know what we need. And we can't really wait till July to put together a plan. We need to start working on this now. And I think Chris has already done a lot of the legwork on this.
We'll be happy to see what he does.
I would propose if we do a shopping list and all that, that we also in that propose that the port pay for half, because they use this room. I could go all the way to the chairs and the tables and the speakers and all of it. Because the port has said that they would help us with the sound and stuff. So the chairs, I mean, and when we have a nice council chambers and they have a nice port chambers to have their meetings.
And on that note, on the chairs, Ted Dodd, who's a port commissioner, that's what they sell as office equipment. He reached out to the city at one point, I don't know if you saw that, saying that we've got all this surplus equipment and we're willing to let it go at a fraction of what we normally sell it for. If we haven't talked to him, we should maybe just reach out to Ted and see if they have any of that stuff still around. But it might, yeah, Kathy, I see you raising your hand.
Well, it's about the IT thing, so I don't wanna interrupt.
Go ahead.
No.
I just would like to make sure since we hire, we pay for IT, that whatever we do, that they're gonna cover and be able to work on whatever.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So they need to be, they're another person needs to be included in this conversation. And I think
Probably.
the mayor's comment is, you know, it's really expensive every time we call RadCom because the mics aren't working and they come out here to work on this stuff. So this cheap equipment might have been cheap up front, but it's costing the city a lot for troubleshooting and maintenance.
Courtney?
So are you talking about getting new equipment or hiring an IT guy?
No, just getting new microphones and better camera for the council chambers.
Okay.
And Chris was willing to donate his expertise to help us find a solution that was gonna work well for our space.
Right.
We got people that Mary Ann, you know, in the community that are like all this vast experience are willing to volunteer and share that. We should be readily, you know, willing and to accept that, in my opinion.
Tiffany?
I think we just ran into a snag because I think we've had this conversation over and over before, but I think the previous city administrator wanted to hold off until we got a new building, and it was just like, what, to me, it seems like it's transportable if we ever go in that direction, so I don't understand what the big thing up was, so it's nice to see that we can, I mean, cause if you watch these, sometimes these meetings it's hard, I mean, everybody should go watch a meeting just to see what it is we're dealing with.
It sounds like, I think we're all kind of on the same page. I didn't want to be directing staff without talking to you guys about it, but we can't talk to you guys about it unless we're in a meeting.
Right.
I think we've been on there, that page, but we just.
We always hit a dead wall because we're not gonna be here, let's not do it, so now we're on a different path.
Yeah, which word I support
Yeah.
hiring this person to upgrade our system, so we're all clear and this sounds good. The furniture's fine to me, guys, I don't know about you, but this chair works fine, I don't feel like we need new furniture.
Courtney's in the one that's the shaking chair.
But if we can get a reasonably, then, I mean, it's been on these tables, I have never understood these tables, they were supposed to be for round robin, I don't even remember who got them, was it Willoughby or what, did you get them?
It was Bob Willoughby.
It was
Bob
Willoughby?
Willoughby.
Yeah, he, for some reason, he wanted it so that they could go around in a circle, and we've never ever, I don't think we've ever used them like that, so I
Okay.
don't, yeah.
Let's let you go.
A little bit, yeah,
Let's let you go.
thank you.
Yes,
So,
thank you guys.
there's an update on the Quaker project update. She called me again today, and so I can't, Quaker. We need to review the process with them again, and I will do that, this week. The substation grant, we have the documents ready to be recorded with the necessary signatures. We don't have the signatures from the Snyder property and the easement and the agreement for the power installation. Hopefully that will come this week. The bid will, for the transformer, it will be in the paper on the 27th. The bid open will be on March 3rd. And if anybody responds to the bid, we should be able to give a notice of award at our March 9th meeting. Please understand, we are not asking for a new transformer for the substation. New transformers, 25 to 30 megawatt, are 80 to 110 weeks in manufacturing, and we don't have that kind of time.
No.
So we're looking for a suitable size, used, refurbished transformer to put in the substation. So that's, keep your fingers crossed, yes, ma'am.
Have we talked to any linemen about the needs that we have for this transformer?
Oh, yeah, and it's, when we first started this whole project, we had our electrical consultants talk about that whole thing. And the idea was to provide more power to the industrial park, but maintaining the current pyramid substation. That substation can run the residences, and the new substation can run any industrial parks and provide backup for the residents. So that was all taken care of in the initial studies and scoping of this project.
Okay, because I was talking to somebody the other day and they were mentioning that we have a really odd voltage for a city.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. We got a good guy for that one.
Well, the problem for that is, it's not gonna change.
Right.
It's,
It just
Tacoma,
makes the equipment more expensive and harder to get.
Yeah,
yes and no. We get a lot from, I think it's Tacoma PUD that runs the same voltage that we do. It would be nice, we had visions of switching over to the standard, but the cost far outweighs the benefit. So, but you're right, where it keeps us unique.
I'm just curious, what is standard and what do we have and?
Oh, I'm sorry, I've forgotten all that stuff since I left.
I think standards like 12,
Yeah.
13.
13.6,
I thought we had 13.8.
13.8 or something like that.
Standard, like 12.
yeah.
What does that mean?
So we can't use like any transformers or anything from anybody else, we can't borrow them because they're so unique, we have to get them.
So what that means is, your transformers, they get tapped in at certain spots for your line voltage, for your load voltage, and so, yeah. Thank you.
but
Three
why
to
is
four-
ours
three to
so-
four more power than 12. Basically, you gotta,
And why is it that way? I mean, just,
this was the way it was developed, way back when somebody's father was putting line in.
or with BPA, on the power started out, they started everything at 13, because they're running, their first power was going to aluminum plants, or going big power users, and they wanted to make sure they had enough, to get that higher voltage into them. So we were the first one online.
so we just got the same as.
We got what all the big boys were getting at the time. Then people started changing over to 12A. And we just stayed, all these little transformers, all these little poles are 13s on it, so you have to change every one of those transformers to 12A to do it. It's more than changing just the substation,
Yeah,
changing all your transformers.
yeah,
Unless your transformer has the plugs in it. Not all of them do, but some of them have plugs using the one number of, like the one out here. That's what we just tapped into the plug, it was a 12A, but we tapped into the 13A. So you can do that on some transformers, but not all transformers.
So all of our high voltage lines in town are all 1380,
Yep.
and then they step down to 240 at the
Yep.
pole to go to your house.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. I knew that stuff. DLCD grant, after consulting with the Department of Housing, the Land Conservation Development, Housing Accountability and Production Office. We have been awarded a grant to review our code for appropriate housing changes since state law has changed. Jamie Crawford submitted that application to the state and it was approved. But the dollar amount has not been approved. Because we are required to informally solicit potential contract planners to do the review. And so we've approached our previous planner, our current planner, Jamie is in there, and somebody else is coming in to present a proposal where they break down their timeline, the expected hours, their billing rate. And then when that scope of work is approved by the state will also approve the amount of money necessary, up to $100,000 to get that process done. We are expecting the proposals, requests for qualifications to come in by this Thursday. And then Kathy and I have worked with these planners. We would appreciate it if we could pick the one that we feel is most qualified and then get that approved by the state with your approval.
I'm good with that. This is one that, we actually was on our agenda for in January. For Jamie Crawford to do it, and some of the steps were missed, so I'm glad that Gordon caught it. As you have to take certain steps when getting grant money. So I'm okay with Kathy and Gordon picking it. I don't know how you guys are.
Because we've worked with all of them.
Yeah,
I'm good.
because it's just giving direction.
And it's all gonna be funded by the state, so. There's very little risk all of these people are qualified, we just have to figure out which one's gonna be the best for us.
I know it's paid for by the state, but what's the dollar amount, you know?
$100,000 is the max, based on billing rate now. Thank you, appreciate that. I met with Nadine Appenbrink, excuse me, and Benjamin Hahn of Parametrics. They are responsible for our transportation system plan update. And we also had Louis Kinney and Tara Lingley from ODOT and Corey Weisner, the county public works supervisor, in here to talk about the timing, what the transportation system plan involves, and to give them a feel for Cascade Locks. And so we took them on a two-hour tour and showed them all of our little idiosyncrasies and quirks and desires. I also gave them a list of what I would like to see in a TSP, and they're all from the 2001 TSP. I just want an update. So that, again, that's an 18 to 24 month process. You will be involved every step of the way with open houses and reports and that kind of information to you, sir.
So is there a grant for this?
Yes.
Okay.
250,000.
Okay. I was about to say, it's not a small project.
It is not a small project.
It's a big project, yeah, and so as far as scope, you know, we earlier were talking with code enforcement about some county roads with city boundaries. What does the TSP include and how, is it only what's inside the city, you know, the city roads, or is it including everything in the city limits?
It's city limits and beyond. For example, one of the things that we've talked about is an interchange at exit 47, a complete interchange, which is just outside the city limits, but would greatly enhance access to the industrial park for trucks and actually remove a great need of a truck route through town.
I was gonna say that, get rid of the traffic down Forest Lane.
Would not get rid of it, but would substantially lessen it.
Yeah.
That TSP, it's gotta be on our TSP first before it goes to the county TSP, and then once it's in the county TSP, then we can look at the Area Commission on Transportation to include it in their priorities for future funding. But that would be huge, but that's impacts our transportation system plan, even though it's outside the city.
So then I brought that up because on Forest Lane frontage road, we had a presentation by a resident about just bike traffic on.
Yes.
You know, we got all this beautiful bike path that ends at Wyatt and then picks up on the west side of Cascade Locks. And you know, people are riding their bikes down, you know, 55-mile-an-hour zone.
Yeah, bike paths is part of the system plan. Replacement of the bridge on frontage road, because it's not wide enough to handle traffic and bikes at any time. It's also not. If we start putting a lot of trucks across frontage road, that bridge will not last very long. So there's some issues that way that they have to look at, and I shared with the planners. We're looking for a south of the freeway route to get out of town. You may be coming off on Dine Street and back at the Dry Creek and out through the way station. For emergency purposes only to begin with, or development in the future. So there's all kinds of those little issues that they're gonna take a look at and see what they can do. It's pretty complicated, but it really is in the 2001 transportation system plan. It just needs to be updated, and the costs need to be updated.
I guess the two other issues that been kind of ongoing things that we've been talking about for years, as long as I've been on council, the quiet zone, railroad crossings, is that rail, pedestrian, all that stuff is included, right?
That is included. The quiet zones, well, also included is the improvement of gravel pit road to the rail crossing, across the rail crossing, while meeting Atwell Street and improving Herman Creek Lane from Forest Lane to Atwell Street. So that they have that whole loop there servicing that 50 acres of the Hood River Sand and Gravel. Problem with that is the crossing at Gravel Pit Road is private. The UP Railroad has said before, if we can get we have to improve the crossing at Herman Creek Lane, which last time I looked was $500,000. The improvement at Cranbrook Way is relatively cheap because everything is in place. We just have to put in more signalization. But the private crossing at Grafton Road would be probably another $1 million to do it correctly. And those are the only 3 crossings inside the city that we have any kind of control over. And we had the money to do the Herman Creek Lane, but UP came in and said, you also have to replace the control box. And before I left, I told them, no, that's your normal maintenance, you have to replace that, and they didn't buy that. Eventually the county was supposed to give the money back, and we already had raised for that, but that's the quiet zone. What was your other question?
That was one, and, the second one was just, issue, and we're gonna see it this summer with, congestion on 84 going to single lane and people going Bridge of the Gods and then traffic backed up all the way down.
Well, that one you will never solve, because we just don't have the capacity. However, the Area Commission on Transportation, the Hood River Committee has approved the intersection of Toll House Road and Wanapa for improvement. And it's on the priority list for 2031. So the question then is, what would the improvement be? And we talked to this with these engineers. You got 3-car, 5-car left turn lane. What's that gonna do for you? Absolutely nothing. Put crossing lights in there or stop lights, traffic lights. What's that gonna do for you? When they close the freeway or they shuttle people off the freeway, no matter what you have done, will improve access to the bridge and getting cars over the bridge in a timely manner. So, and I talked to the mayor about this. One of our problems is not the left turn lane from Wanapa up to Toll House Road. It's the people coming off the freeway at 70 and 80 miles an hour and not slowing down. Well, how do you get them to slow down? Make them turn. You put a roundabout. Roundabouts facilitate the flow of traffic so that everybody's moving. But again, if you're backed up to Hood River, you're never, nothing, whatever you do is not gonna do anything. But by making that a little safer, you've made our downtown a little safer, a little more protected. It also gives you the opportunity to do some aesthetics that says, hey, welcome to Cascade Locks. We're different here. We've got this statue or something in the middle of the roundabout. We hope nobody hits it. But you've improved it. So if you look at the intersection from Toll House and Lompo as a safety and not as a movement facilitation, maybe we can, and plus roundabouts are easier to maintain, they cost less to do. And anyway, but I'm only here for a few months.
Well, and really, I feel like there's 2 other things that we didn't talk about there with the congestion on Wanapa. It's the toll booth. The people that breeze by don't slow it down, so everybody else is stopping to pay the tolls with a credit card or cash. That slows everybody down because even if you got a breeze by, you still got to wait in line. If they could do pay by plate like they do at the Hood River Bridge and you don't have any toll operators, and just keep going. But then the next bottleneck is the left turn on the 14. And that's where I feel like, that's where my bigger question was, is how far does this TSP go? You fix one issue, but it doesn't fix the left turn on the 14 because it's not in the state of Oregon.
Yeah, that's beyond our reach.
So TSP is not gonna touch that, but the TSP will talk about the interchange, making the turn on to Toll Bridge. So that answers my questions for now.
Yeah,
Here
so
goes
we
some
was,
more. And I got you next.
So if I'm clear though, in the TSP process, traffic engineers will look at all these
Absolutely.
congestion points and then come up with ideas, like a roundabout, like a light or whatever. And they're gonna, there'll be data behind
That's correct.
what engineering they recommend to improve our traffic flow.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not my opinion.
Is it
Yeah,
more-
like I say, you're way down the road on this thing, without a traffic engineer kind of walking through it.
Well,
Fair enough, you might be right,
I've
but
been
I,
looking at it for 14 years.
yes,
Bernard.
you have, God bless you, thank you.
Sherelle,
I was just kind of on the same lines of, the whole bridge conversation. Getting up to the bridge is difficult when they have the freeway closed down. Would the TSP cover additional lanes on the approach up to the bridge, like have a breeze by lane only and a toll?
Yeah, I'm sure that's all part of the act monies that we're talking about for 2031. The port got that put on the list, they're the ones that are driving it. But again, how much space is up there?
Yeah.
You know, it's.
It drops off, man, it's just a hill right there.
I know that the port can reach out to, I don't know if it's the construction, they can get approved with MoDOT to just open it up and not charge a toll. But they have to get approval so they can get reimbursed.
yes,
But that is something that's kind of on their playlist, if they see traffic backing up, they do reach out to them, they will, try to get the toll booth opened up to try to mitigate that as much as they can, but again, it's gonna be real bad this summer.
Just, maybe they'll stop and buy an ice cream cone, or they'll stay over by it, or
Just stay overnight, don't even drive across the bridge, just
they'll.
stay.
hey,
They stop at that green zone, they park out in the street to do that.
Yeah, that'll
So,
Yeah.
We need to control that, so.
After they do a U-turn.
yeah,
U-turns, yeah.
all right.
Thank you. And just for your information, Donna Mickley, who lives in Cascade Locks, is retiring after 37 years with the Forest Service. She is the Colby River Gorge Forest Supervisor. So congratulations to her on her pending retirement. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Do we have an update on the sewer pump?
We do not.
I don't know if, I know you've got a lot of things on your plate, but in your poking around, if you find, did we ever get finalization on the McCord Creek Bridge thing? Is that?
We did, there's $60,000 that we're supposed to be getting from ODOT for the second movement of that bridge, and me and Kathy talked about it, and anytime Carrie gets an odd check, then she knows, so I'm assuming that we have not gotten it yet.
Haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah, so that, as far as I know, that's the only thing we're waiting for, but the McCord Bridge, as far as the first placement, that's all been paid for and done. And everything for the second movement has been paid for and done, we're just waiting to get reimbursed from ODOT the 60,000.
You're talking about the fall.
The vault, yeah,
Yeah. So they told us.
yeah, cause we had to move it
Said that.
twice.
Yeah. Okay. So will we get an update on that for sure when that's?
When the 60,000 comes in,
Yeah, I mean,
We can
I think
yeah. Yeah,
all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Just trying to not lose my fingers in the different pots that
I know.
And I know,
really
and I know
appreciate
you're walking right into it, so I mean, there's just,
there's a lot.
yeah.
All right, so we're moving on to mayor and city council comments. Bernard, let's start with you.
Let's see. I did a little cleanup on the on-ramp near the weigh station. Had 3 people help me out, and it's a mess out there, guys. But, I've been walking more, so I'm growing my perimeter on what I'm picking up litter for. I mean, downtown is spotless, cause again, I've been just hitting it so hard. So now I'm moving further east and getting along Frontage Road, and I didn't realize, we're gonna talk the weigh station, cause I feel like it's truckers putting that stuff out there. And it is disgusting, I can't tell you how much just
Yeah,
terrible things, are out there. So, been working on that, and, that's it,
all right. Hey, thank you, Bernard.
thank you.
Courtney?
Thank you.
Marianne for being here, putting in a lot of hours, getting our audits and still being present at city council meetings.
Yeah.
Appreciate all of your time. Mr. Zimmerman, it's been very nice getting to know you. I don't have a lot,
Thank you, Courtney. Tiffany?
So, just on your point, Bernard, Jeff Nolan did a report a long time ago that said that down the Columbia River Gorge is the most pee per mile. With the bottles that, you know, the Snell bottles.
We ran into a lot of those.
Yeah, oh, yeah, so, I mean, we have a lot of it, I hate it, it's gross.
It's disappointing.
Are you gonna do a synopsis of what happened at the last council meeting since we, is that?
We're gonna let them know that the minutes are here and that they can sit and kind of go over a couple things, but
Okay,
it's all published.
so with all of the issues that we're dealing with now, I hope that in the future we can set up a way for department heads or people who work for the city to be able to communicate with us, because I feel like we, as a council, let things go too long. We all knew there was a problem, we all kept being told it was being taken care of, and I just feel like we let it slide too much, and now we have this big, huge, gummy mess that we have to, that we've placed a really huge burden on our city staff to try and figure out. So I just hope in the future that we can have that discussion about how we can, how that cannot happen again. I wanna say, we said some things at the last council, and I hope that you'll repeat some of the things that you said, because they weren't recorded, and I want people to hear what you say. I came into the office, I mean, these people are working tired, I mean, you can tell by the look on their faces that, I mean, that this is a lot of work. And they are working their tail ends off, trying to detangle everything so that we can get back on our straight path and not have to worry about this. And I wanna say especially a thank you to Mary Ann, because it was a sacrifice to step down from your position to go back into your previous working position to try and help do that detangle, and I appreciate that. I mean, that, I would struggle with having to give up my position that I ran for, and I really appreciate that. And the staff, I just wanna say thank you, because I understand this is real, I mean, come up here during the week and you will see that it is just a lot of work that's going on here, trying to get this all figured out, and I just really appreciate the above and beyond that's happening here at City Hall. I also wanna say that, thank you to Tom and Sherelle for stepping up and filling in. I really love how this council's working together, and I really, this is like the best council I've ever been on. We can agree to disagree, but we can move on, but we all have great strengths that we bring to the table, and I love that. I feel like this is just like really one of the better councils, and I feel like that we are really working hard to make sure that things are going right for the city, and that we are doing our due diligence, and we have different connections that we're reaching out and trying to improve our city so that it is working better for the community. And it just really warms my heart that we have that going on, and I wanna say I really appreciate all of you. I mean, I appreciate that Courtney has great electrical information, and she just asked the right questions that I wouldn't know to ask, and, you know, Pete has some good questions, and I love that we're not sitting on our butts, not doing anything. We genuinely wanna understand what's going on around us and what's going on in our town, and understand the situations and understand how to fix it, and I just wanna tell you guys, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Tiffany. Tom?
Yeah, I concur. It is good to be around a council that obviously isn't looking for things for themselves. They're looking for things for what they can do for the citizens of the town. And I feel that's the council we got going in here. So I think hopefully we can wind up a good administrator that can follow through on that with this type of a council. But one thing I wanted to ask, and again, Mary Ann and Kathy, same thing, you guys contributed to making this thing, saving the whole thing here for us. We really appreciate it. And Gordon, just the experience I already know with you, that you were well respected when you retired, you were well respected in the state for how you administrated a community. Went to League of Oregon Cities with you, and wasn't sure about who you were and what you were all about there, but, we sat around with people, lots of administrators, managers, the whole bit, they all knew the guy, you could tell they liked the guy, they respected the guy, and just like, all right, we're gonna do okay here, and we did, I believe we did really well. And I believe on the same kind of a council, same kind of time with that. One of the questions, the question I wanna ask, 'cause I don't know, I'm not a techie guy, but I try to look a little bit at what's going on. So obviously, we got AI out here, and I'm a YouTube guy, I love YouTube. So there's all kinds of crazy movies that have been created by AI that are obviously, so it has done that. But as I understand it, one of the best things about AI is numbers. And I'm just wondering, because I know Mary Ann she'll only do what she can do. And she has to pile over lots of numbers and move them here and move them there to do that. I'm just wondering if there's some way that we could use AI in the future, be looking at that type of thing to help us with our financial thing. Because apparently it can tell you a lot of stories that you never thought you could find out about yourself and track things for you more than you ever thought you could track for yourself. Because what we do is all of our stuff now is put into a computer, I guess. And anything that you do, we see it on paper, but it's also on a computer. So I'm assuming that AI can look at whatever information we have all the way back and compile some kind of tracking thing of where we go and how we're spending our money, how we organize it. See that AI can take a look at whatever, because one of the issues we have is trying to follow what state laws are in city, how cities supposed to manage their money, take care of it. Well, AI can look at that whole thing and have the entire, all the laws, rules and everything that the state's ever done, and it has it within itself, and then apply that to all the information that you have. So my question, that's my question, is there a way for us to be able to take a look at that, head down that way? It's obvious AI can be a really scary thing too. It's obvious that the citizens can be really concerned about, what AI can find out about them from our information. But what I'm looking at is not tracking citizens' names, count people or anything like that, strictly numbers. Strictly from an accounting and other falling numbers and can it help us? So anyway, I just want to throw that out there as because this has been an issue, it's an issue with us right now. And I think it potentially can continue to be an issue with you. But if you have something that just tells you, that's all it does, it's going to just tell you what's there, and it tries to compile your information for you and tell you a story on it. And you tell them what you're asking for, it gives you whatever it can give you in that answer. Because Mary Ann's gonna go. Right now, Mary Ann can tell us something, or if I ask Mary Ann something that's fairly complicated, she's gonna have to go, well, I can get that for you, but it's gonna take me, I'm already doing all this stuff, but it's gonna take me this to do that, and it's gonna take me away from all of this stuff. But as I understand AI, it can help her just go, boom, and it's there almost instantaneously, from what I understand. But I'm just asking the question.
It's an interesting theory.
Yeah, so I've been working on this a little and learning more about it. My understanding right now is that AI for an organization like us is excellent at discrete questions and solutions. Okay, so if you ask AI,
Compare these two proposals from Prothman and GMP.
it might be able to do
Summarize
that.
the differences,
Yes. It might be able to do that, okay. But the challenge that we would have, if we're going back, is that you have to create an AI that knows all the rules of our finance and accounting system, which is unique to Cascade Locks. It's different in Gresham, it's different in Shoreline, it's different everywhere you go. We have billing codes that aren't the same as Gresham, for example. And so you have to build one, and then it could do that. But until you do that, it's pretty limited on taking just dumping in there and saying, figure all this stuff out. It doesn't know our rules. So if we grew in sophistication, I was just talking to a lady, she works for Amazon, and Amazon has their own AI. They built an AI that's built for all of Amazon's functionality. And it can answer questions about accounting and sales and marketing, everything, because it was built to, it understands all the rules and requirements that they're trying to work beyond. We don't have that, we're relying on ChatGPT or Gemini or one of those, and unless you can get in there, it won't be able to solve, I think, where you're trying to get it.
So that's my question, I'm assuming, because I don't know, I'm assuming you're talking about the rules, our rules are somewhere. Our rules are digitized somewhere, we have bookkeeping rules, we have accounting rules, all the rules of the city are somewhere digitized. And can't we give it that information and say, okay, here are our rules, and here's how we handle our money, here's all our account numbers.
Yeah.
Compile all those things, put them in place and tell us something.
I would love to hear Mary Ann's response to that. Is there,
Yeah.
Sorry.
but is there a place that shows all our accounting rules like in one place and you just dump it into AI?
Not all the accounting rules, I have one that says all the accountants.
Yeah.
Every account, but not all the accounting rules, because they're all done by state, federal, Oregon, whatever.
And don't they change often, or no?
They,
In general,
general accounting,
standard.
and
rules.
Those
standard,
change.
yeah,
Yes.
Gatsby,
Okay.
those change.
Yeah.
I thought AI can look at that and go, boom, I got it all.
Yeah.
And within a few minutes, all those millions of rules that would be overwhelming for us, it's got them. And then it applies, okay, here's who we are,
I
here's
think
our
it's just
stuff,
building.
how those rules apply
Yeah.
I
to.
think it's building it the hard part.
And Tiffany, you
And
wanna?
I would say that required, the building is the
Yeah.
input, you've gotta have the input, so you're gonna have to hire somebody full-time to input all the information that you're gonna need to have those sorts of questions answered, and to have the rules put in, and to have the da-da-da to be able, so it's gotta start, and you're gonna want some history, so you're gonna wanna put some previous years in, so that there can be some sort of history that it can be compared with, so that, it would be a really labor-intense thing. And I don't think I forgot to say.
What's that?
I wanted to say also thank you to the mayor, because she's worked her butt off during this transition period and before, when there were the issues, and she was trying to get them worked out, and it was just a difficult time, because it was just, and I wanna say that, thank you for all of the work that you did, because I know you worked your tail off, and you've been there to get this transition, so that it's been a little bit smoother than what we, sorry, thank you.
Were you done, Tom? You got more?
That's it,
That's it? All right, you're.
I'm happy to be here, and I like everybody. We've got a great staff, we've got a great staff, there is no reason
Yes.
for us not to be successful in where we wanna go and what we want. You guys have goals set, you probably set some more goals.
Mhm.
I see no reason for us not being able to obtain those goals.
Exactly. Thank you. Sharon?
I just wanna say I'm super impressed with Mary Ann's work. Just 2 weeks ago, we sat here, we were talking about $60,000 or something that we couldn't find, and after all these months of being where we were, just kudos to Mary Ann for digging in, and probably Gordon too, you guys working together to work that out. Really impressive. And I have one kind of little thing, it might be more of a process question for staff. I'm noticing for deposit refund checks, we're actually listing the recipients, like people's names are listed in the check register.
Supposed to be an account number.
So
Oh, no,
the payee,
no, the name is in there.
and that feels like it might be personal
It's a-
information that we might not want public, I don't know.
It's a deposit refund, I don't know.
Just a,
I mean, we have to,
so at City of Gresham, we use for refunds, we use a temporary vendor. So the temporary vendor says utility deposit. And so you would never see that person's name
yeah,
on a check
we
register.
used to do that, and guess what happened? Somebody got paid twice, so that's when it changed to We took that, remember that, Marianne? We had a,
Yeah, we did have one.
yeah,
Is it too much work to redact people's names from the check, from this check register for the packet that goes online for everybody to see? Somebody got a protection order, or, you know, there's all sorts of scenarios that.
I'll ask if it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem, but
Can we change it to just
if
their
they
address, maybe?
deposit, no, not the address.
No, that would be worse, alright.
Thank you.
I mean, I can find out. I mean, we can redact it, it just takes.
I wonder if you could
It
just,
doesn't look great work, I just,
Yeah.
and if there's ever been a complaint, it's not an issue, but it feels like it's personal information out there that we're putting out there, so.
yeah. Thank you, is that it, Sherelle?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Pete?
All right, well, last meeting, we did have our technical glitches, which I know you're gonna talk about a little bit more. But one of the things I mentioned in our closing comments, and I'm sorry, you guys have to listen to this again, but really was meant to be heard by anybody that is plugged in and listening our council procedure, proceedings. And from the outside, people that aren't here, and privy to all of the information that we see and the executive sessions that we are part of, it may feel like things are very chaotic and a mess. And my comment last week was just to assure people that you elected us to represent you, and we are doing our best to do, fulfill our campaign promises to the citizens, and we're working really hard. And there's two reasons why we could end up in executive session, and maybe there's more, but the two that I'm aware of are litigation and employee performance. And so when we're in executive session, there's things that we're discussing that we can't talk about with other people, period. And so that means that there's, for people that aren't here in this room and a part of those conversations, they don't understand why things are the way they are. And it's easy to jump to some conclusions and draw connections between things that just don't exist. And we've also had some inaccurate reporting or things that were reported with information that, and really there's not a lot that we can do to correct that or even, clarify those points, because again, this is confidential information that's during the executive session. So I just wanted to provide a little bit of reassurance to anybody that's watching that, if you are feeling like things are in a kind of chaos and a mess, just give us 12 weeks. That's what I said, 2 weeks ago. So give us 10 weeks. And I think we're gonna be in better shape. And in fact, just 2 weeks ago, we had $46,000. We didn't know where it was. We figured that out. And we're gonna get our 22-23 audit behind us. We're moving on to 23-24 and 24-25. I think it'll be shortly after that. So, and then that leads me to our city administrator report from this evening. The first two issues on here, the IT update and the audit update. And, for those of us that did campaign in the last election and went and door knocked, I mean, I think Courtney, Tiffany, Bernard, and Marianne, the things that we heard over and over and over again, I think it didn't matter whether it's Bernard and I walking around or you and Marianne walking around, we probably heard the same things. People missed the CCTV channel where they could just tune in and watch council proceedings. That's why we moved to the, YouTube Live. So that way people didn't have to download Zoom and log in. They could just turn on their TV and watch it. We heard from people that they had a hard time hearing us. And that's come up over and over and over again. So when we make these requests for improved microphones, it's not because it's us that want it. It's because we know that our citizens want it. The audit update, all of us, everybody that ran, getting our finances straight was the number one thing we're working on. So again, this goes back to the chaos that you might be seeing in the city, but it goes back to us being committed to fulfilling our campaign promises, because we know this is what is important to the citizens in our community. And so these things that people are seeing, understand that we're moving things in a good direction. And thank you, Marianne, for your work. I thought we were gonna have to get 22-23 closed out by just not being able to find that. And the fact that I understand we kind of turned it over to them and they might come back and have some questions, but I feel like we're a lot closer to actually getting them solved. And yeah, the mayor, I recognized you at the last meeting, and I really do think that, and I appreciate you saying that too, Tiffany. But the mayor's been, you know, this isn't a job, it's supposed to be 40 hours a week. It's not, and you know, and the mayor's been putting in full-time hours to be here to support our city staff and make sure that they, as chaotic as things are, didn't feel all that chaos, is whatever she could do to try to take that off of their shoulders, including putting us in our place when we're sending questions on Sunday. She stands up for the city staff, and I think that that's something that really needs to be commended, so. And I ran against you, but I've got a tremendous amount of respect for you, and I just think people need to understand that, and, I was listening to, Reverend Jesse Jackson died, you know, since our last council meeting. And, I listened to his speech from the Democratic National Convention in 1968. And one of the metaphors he talked about in his speech was this idea of the crossroads. And the idea of the crossroads that he brought up was this place where people come together and share different opinions and learn from one another. And, you know, how many of us, I think we all bring a different skill set and mindset. We represent different people in the community. We hear different things in the community. But when we have questions about the electric utility, we can talk to our, you know, union electrician that's at this table. We can talk to someone whose dad was one of the linemen in our city that can explain the voltage issue that, like, I'd never heard that before, right? Budget stuff, you know, how many years have you been on budget, Tiffany? You know, it's just that, you know, Bernard, you know, all this finance, Sherelle. So I feel like we all bring a little something different. The last council meeting, I'm really sad that people didn't get to see it because we had a lot of stuff that we took votes on. We had a lot of really good discussion. We all didn't go into those discussions thinking the same way, but every single vote was unanimous at the end, right?
Yes.
So I just, I wanna say that I feel like our council's in a great place, even though it may feel a little chaotic, but we're moving in a good direction. So thank you for all being here. Thank you to our staff, and that's all I got.
Thank you, Pete. All right, I don't have too much. I'm having my meeting with the port. I have a monthly meeting with the port that I've had for over a year now. And I usually have it down at the port, and it's on March 4th. And because I can't get up their steps because I'm handicapped, I've asked them to come here and meet me in council chambers at 9 AM on March 4th. So they will come here and meet me for the monthly meeting. Hoping nothing's going on, otherwise we can go in the library or something, but I just can't get into the port property. We have 4 openings on budget. We need to get them filled, cause we are in budget season. And then we have 1 opening on planning. I wanna thank this council too. We have grown as a council and we really come together, and I think what we got going on takes a village. It's gonna take a village to get us back to being all right. And we all have unique things that we're good at, and it's such an asset. Like I can ask Bernard about city administrator stuff, or ask Tiffany about budget, or you know, you about electrical, and Tom being on here, knowing all about the substation. What an asset. That's like, wow. And then Sorrell's actually been a city employee before, so she knows a lot of things too. So we have an awesome council, and then we have awesome staff as well. And Kathy, I want to continue to thank you for your dedication and hard work and all the hours you're putting in. I really do appreciate it. And I want all of the staff to know how much this council really appreciates you guys, because we understand what you guys are going through. And if there's anything we could do as a council to help you, please feel free to reach out, please.
Thank you.
Yes.
You've been amazing.
Thank you. And would you like to say anything, Kathy? I know we don't usually do it, but we're not our usual self. You're kind of like an intern too.
Yeah.
Interim.
Well, I do wanna let council know that, you know, at first I was a little worried when the mayor agreed to come up. I thought, oh, I don't know. But it really did, it did take a lot off my shoulders, because I could just push things over to her that she had maybe talked to Jordan about. I didn't know anything about it. And so she actually did the talking to people that she needed to talk to, and I could just concentrate on records or stuff I needed to do in-house. And then it's great having help in the office. And now Gordon's here and he gets to deal with all that stuff. And Mary Ann gets to do the numbers. So a lot of the numbers are now coming off my plate.
Yay.
Thank you all for your support and for recognizing staff, because I don't think that a lot of councils before have. It is a lot of work in a small city. Mary Ann for sure will tell you, in a small city, it's a lot of work, And I do think that we have, well, I mean, lived here for a really long time. I can't imagine living anywhere else. I love my city and I love my people. So thank you for letting me be a part of the ride.
Thank you, Kathy, so much. And thank you, Mary Ann, too. Because we wouldn't have this audit almost done if it wasn't for you. And I see like light at the end of the tunnel that maybe perhaps we might get some audits done. A couple of them would be nice, right? We've been working on this for years, so I'm excited. I can see light at the end of the tunnel and it's not a train. So that's good news. And thank you guys for all of your support with my injury and all that. I try to be more available to city staff and stuff, as I get better and get past some of the elevation, then I can be up here more, but I will be non-weight bearing for at least another 2 to 3 months. So, just know that it's gonna be a struggle for a little bit, but I can do the struggle. I just can't do all the pain and swelling. So, thank you guys. And with that, I will entertain an emotion.
So moved. God made a motion to adjourn. I thought you were gonna say the whole thing.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. It has been approved and unanimously to adjourn.
I know, it's crazy. Well, yeah, I feel like we're gonna get slammed with a really, really long meeting. We had a really short meeting.
Well, now that you said something, thanks, Tiffany.
So we're more,
That was recorded.
That's all right. It's still true.